Welcome to Booking It. Today's episode will be the Wingfeather Saga, Monster in the Hollows. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Booking It. My name is, of course, your eloquent host, Cooper Cobbs. I hope that today, whichever hollow you're from, that it's a safe one and tidy, and that you're, got a warm cup of bibes, and you're sitting by a roaring fire, and smoke's coming through the chimney, and painting a picture here. Anyway, I hope that you guys are all enjoying that. And joining me today around this wonderful table to discuss this wonderful book, across from me, Mr. Isaiah Redsky.
Yo, what's up?
Michigan hat once again.
Oh, yeah.
And
Never put it down. I sleep in it, too.
It did. It came off today.
It did come off today. We'll talk about that.
Dang it. Why are you guys mentioning that? Come on.
To my right, Mr. Bryson Bostwick, the man,
Everybody.
the legend.
Yes.
He was in the Chick-fil-A cow earlier today.
Oh, boy. That was an experience for the ages.
And to my left, Mr. Tanner Lewis.
Howdy, folks.
Sipping out of his beer glass.
It's a whiskey glass.
Whiskey glass.
Come on,
my
man.
bad, my bad. It's not a shot glass, so I don't know what you call them.
Don't worry, it's just Sprite.
It's called a
Bourbon
whiskey glass.
Okay.
It is Sprite, but it is a whiskey glass.
Well, so today we have been up here north in the wonderful town of Gunter, Texas. I'm sorry, Gunner. Texas.
Gunner. Thank you. Thank you.
Funny story. One time somebody, I think Matthew actually said the T in Gunter.
Yeah.
And Tanner was like, the T is silent. All T's are silent.
Yeah, he had a whole big thing about
okay,
it.
Anner, or something
It was
like that.
alright.
Okay, Anner. Anyway,
Another one.
we've been up here doing some physics experiments all together. We've been taking some photos for senior photos, all of us, in downtown Salina, Texas. And some of us are still dressed up in that. And
I'm not.
afterwards, Mr. Trent, Tanner's dad, tried to set me up with the waitress. And
It was
He almost
so,
succeeded.
it was so funny. It was so good.
She was definitely hitting.
I think she was. But
It was his suit, guys. It wasn't Cooper.
Just to let you know, you guys, if we have any
Whoa,
random
what a
conversations,
burn.
it was.
it's late at night.
It wasn't
We've all
Cooper.
had a long day.
We've all had
We're
a
all
long day.
tired.
All
So if we
tired.
go off topic and have random conversations,
It's just
we're sorry.
us in this massive house drinking sparkling water out of whiskey glasses.
Sitting around the poker table
Sitting around a
recording.
poker table.
This is bound to be
Oh
a
my
very
gosh.
exciting
This is
episode.
gonna be a great episode.
Oh, yeah.
This is the Monster in the Hollows attitude. Everybody's tired but happy and warm.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
anyway,
Very fitting.
by the way, I think it was my new glasses.
Happy, warm?
that,
Yes.
got the waitress. hooked up.
Tired? No.
That's right. Hey, bed is still a long ways off, y'all. All right.
What time is it?
It's
too late
to
to
say that that's a long way off.
Yeah.
So here's what happened, guys. So I was reading, I was listening to Monster in the Hollows, and I found it for free because I just did like a Barnes and Noble free trial or something like that.
Because Cooper's a
but
cheap man.
To sign
He's a wise man.
to sign into my Barnes and Noble account to be able to do the free trial, I had to put in answer a security question. And the security question was, what is your favorite author? And I was like, oh boy. I think I made this account like in 2019 or 2020.
Oh,
And I was like, what is the author?
I know.
Okay, what do you think it was?
It's either Tolkien, Peterson, or Indy Wilson.
Okay, it's neither of those.
J.K. Rowling.
None of
There's none of those.
Ooh.
So it was Jonathan Auxier.
Who is
I
that?
think-
Oh, you have talked
Oh
about
my
that
gosh,
guy. You did
seriously?
talk about that guy. I know who that
Peter
is.
Nimble.
Seriously?
You read Peter Nimble before?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. I
We'll
remember
talk
that guy.
about it. Anyway,
Jeez.
I was really big into him as like an author. He's a great kids author today. Anyway, so I got it the second try. I said Tolkien the first time, but because I don't think I'd read Austen at that point. But anyway, I managed to answer my security question, long story short, and get the audiobook. But I listened to it all in one day. And what's funny is the very day that the eclipse was happening over here, somehow the first page, Janner compares Oscar blocking out the sun to an eclipse. And I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh.
So, okay.
Only parallels that Cooper Cobbs
Would
finds.
I
notice.
don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. So, and we've come up with a name, guys, for our own Wingfeather Saga character, right? Bryson,
Yes.
you want to share the guy's name?
Wait.
Oh, it's a wonderful one.
I don't know about this.
you
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Oh wait, maybe he's not on the catechism call. Is that why?
Yes.
Whatever. Go ahead.
Daniel J. Jorston.
So this is the guy. He wrote. So the guy is Daniel J. Jorston. No, Daniel
Borston.
Borston.
It's already
Right.
seeping again. Well,
He
because on the
wrote-
catechism, we're already saying it with the Wingfeather.
Yeah. So anyway, he wrote the history book that we're reading this year. But we thought it'd be really funny if he was in the Wingfeather Saga. He would be called Daniel J. Jorston, which is just
It is
awesome.
such an interchange.
Well,
JJ.
no, that's not how it happened. I slurred.
Oh, that's right. like 7 a.m. Tanner saying Daniel Jorston.
No,
Borston.
Daniel J. Jorston.
Yeah.
Because, tongue
You just
wasn't
do
fully
that.
awake, mind wasn't fully awake, didn't really care enough.
But ours were awake enough to immediately recognize Andrew Peterson. That's totally Wingfeather.
Anyway, so I want to kind of start talking about this book kind of like this. So
Mm.
I think that Andrew Peterson now is just like he's got it all down. He knows how to write a novel, and he can just focus on communicating the feelings that he wants to get across to his audience. And so I noticed kind of two themes that carry all the way through the book, and I wanted to get you guys like thoughts on them. So the first motif is kind of the sound of silence. So the opening line of Monster
No.
Sparkling water whiskey glasses. Anyway, the first motif is sound of silence. So the book opens up. Janner is disturbed by silence, and because Kalmar is not there. And he goes on deck, and he sees the Anira is burning. Then that ties in later, because the important part of the plot is that Kalmar is sneaking out at night, and what disturbs Janner is the sound of silence. He didn't hear his brother. And so
that's
one of
after
the,
like through the whole book,
That's
he
the whole
started
book.
to become accustomed to silence
Right.
and like the peace of life, and then
Exactly.
finally silence is bad again.
and that leads to my second thing was the desire for just a quiet, silent, quaint home. That is, it's never going to happen. And at the end of this book, it's like, okay, you know what? We tried running. We tried finding our home. That's not going to work. We've got to go fight.
Yeah.
You know? So those are kind of the two motifs. I don't know if you guys...
Okay, sorry, that was impulsive.
I don't know if you guys want to, like, break those down. Like, I mean, what were your thoughts on the book? Did you notice those themes?
Oh yeah.
What would you... Go ahead, Bryson.
No, that's especially that second one. I
Mhm.
mean, the first one, silence being both considered a good thing and a bad thing, is it's super obvious. But just going into that being something that Janner finally realizes is I've always wanted a home, especially after. Well, I mean, because back in On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness, he talks about like home being boring, home being a place that he was too accustomed to. Just it wasn't exciting, and he wanted to go
see the
explore
world,
the
yeah.
world. Yeah. Now he's had his
He's
fill
had
of
his
adventure,
adventures,
and he kind of has that same desire as Poto, which you really see it in Poto. Like what does it say? He's in his golden age, or like he's finally
Oh, right, on the
looking
ship.
his age.
Yeah. Oh, after he gets off the ship.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
once
kind of-
his golden now. Okay, sorry.
No.
This is Tanner
at night.
Actually, we're
This
just
is
scratching the
Tanner
surface.
5 hours. Oh, not even 3 hours before 1989 Taylor's version.
You didn't know. He's a Swiftie.
Ew. Is he? Boy.
So now all the Swifties know what date it is and what time it is exactly.
That's right.
If you are a
That
Swiftie,
stinks.
please reconsider all your life choices.
That's he
And I will be
constantly urged
praying
Jenner.
for you.
Yes.
Yeah. That's something we
Podcast
need to
sends
be
up a
better
prayer
about
for
is
you.
praying for all the Swifties.
Yeah,
out
that's
there.
Need that into my prayer list.
I don't know why you're praying for them. They have a joy that can only be found.
It
Tanner.
sounds a little bit like idolatry.
I know,
to
that's
me.
what you were just saying, Cooper, is, my joy is found in the Lord. And
Yeah,
then Tanner comes in and is like, my joy is found in Taylor Swift.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
I don't know. What's the difference? They're both followed around by 12 men.
Oh my gosh.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
I've heard him say it too.
It's a great joke. I love
Isaiah,
it.
what about you?
That's
You just spent like the most words I've ever heard you say on the car ride here. So
Oh.
use some of them on Monster in the
Really?
Hollows.
None of it was on Monster of the Hollows. guys.
Isaiah
Oh.
outspoke me by a mile, and it was wonderful, and it was glorious, and I was basking in it.
Yeah, I
and
was
like-
ranting about
basking in
work.
We were talking about the future, you know?
That's true. The future,
We're talking
and
about
also
the future,
work.
and also work,
And also,
which involves work, you know?
Well, yes,
It has
it's not
to.
what I was talking about.
We haven't
but
talked
yes.
about the book at all, Isaiah. Give your thoughts.
Yes.
Give your thoughts.
So, I guess the thing I noticed the most, I guess, was the first one, the sound of silence. I was, I don't remember any of that before
Yeah.
reading this again. Like,
Mhm.
whenever I thought about the book before, honestly, I forgot like most of the stuff that happened in this book.
Yeah.
So rereading it was absolutely amazing. I love this book a lot.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't remember any of the sound silence, so that was kind of cool. Like that, even if something's there all the time, and then all of a sudden it stops being there, like the silence of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
But by the way, what are our thoughts on the song that Simon and Garfunkel, right? Paul
Oh,
Simon
Sound
and
of
Garfunkel.
Silence.
Yeah.
I don't
Which
know.
one?
It always reminds me
Hello,
of
darkness, my
oh.
old friend.
I can't hear it that I always think of Tim Hawkins. What is it?
Oh, Sound of Starbucks.
Sound of Silence.
Yep.
Sound of
Uh,
Silence is much better though.
It is. It's a great song. It's a good song. So, what I wanted to say was I listened to it all in one day, and introduced and read it, and I had like, teardrop in my eye the entire time. It was like John Denver in Country Roads. I had a teardrop in my eye the whole time, and I loved it so much. And every single moment, from Poto retelling his love story to Lily, and how she's wistfully like her name was Gwendolyn, and then at the end she's like telling Bonifer that's not love. Just like every single thing, I got to see it all in one day, and I was just like, I love this book, and I love the Wingfeather Saga, and I don't care if it's not Tolkien or Jane Austen or Tolstoy, the great authors, whatever.
Yeah.
It's great,
Mhm.
and you should read it, and that's where I was.
I can't wait to see what Andrew Peterson looks like in years to come. Like when he is finally considered, like, not ancient but classic.
Right.
When he's
When
finally
he's
considered classic.
a couple 50 years from now, whatever, and we have the legacy of Tolkien's still the giant, but then we have
Of course.
the Green Emperor and Indy Wilson and then Andrew Peterson, and I think it's gonna happen, and I hope it does because it's good.
Yeah.
This is-
You guys want to hear something kind of funny? So this week I didn't have a lot of time to listen to it. I
Yeah.
already kind of told Cooper this. But the main times I had to listen to it were like car rides.
Yeah.
And then I listened to a lot of it while working out, which is kind of funny. Yeah. So because I was like, I don't have a lot of time to listen because I'm either doing a bunch
Yeah,
of
Isaiah's
school
like
and I
on
can't
the
listen.
treadmill when like Guildmaster Cloud is like telling him to run laps around things.
Yeah, like I couldn't.
Yes,
He's
Master,
feeling
I
that
will.
motivation.
He's feeling it. He's like, I
Yeah.
feel this.
So I couldn't listen to it while
like trying to keep
working.
up with Kalmar
Yeah.
as Janner is trying to keep
Exactly.
up.
Yeah. So I couldn't listen to it while working or while doing school. And if I'm playing video games, I'm talking to friends. Kind of hard to listen to
Obviously,
it.
video
Right.
games are more important.
Yeah.
No, I still listen to it. I mean, I finished.
By
it.
the way, can we just Tanner did finish the book again.
Yeah, again. What the heck?
I tried. Okay, let's be on
No,
board.
you did not.
Isaiah's gonna cut all this out. No excuses. Keep
I'm
keep
definitely
going.
not cutting this out.
No, I'm saying cutting out Tanner's excuses.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah.
prioritize
Speaking-
relationships. Cooper.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Uh,
But yeah, I
Say
listened
something
to
to that.
I'm gonna say I listened to half of the book while working out over this week.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I was just sitting there, like struggling to do a bench press, and I'm just like listening to them reading a book. Like what?
Yeah.
Or him talking about a book.
To me, it's like scary, like listening to something that'll make me laugh when I'm benching though, because I'm just like I'm gonna drop this and laugh. Eddie Peterson is doing this, but
I've also been in the car with Tanner for like 2 hours today, and he didn't listen to the book at all.
Tanner, 2 hours is a quarter of the book. It was only 8 hours on Audible.
I know you've been in the car for longer than that today too.
it's okay, guys.
I did listen to it
Yeah,
in the car on the way to
there-
work and back
Okay.
here.
There's forgiveness,
Yes.
There's forgiveness.
We do forgive you because of the joy
After
of
much
the Lord.
repenting. And
Not the joy of Taylor Swift, but the joy of the Lord.
Repentance.
I don't know.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What is repentance? I
Oh,
don't.
know.
I don't know what repentance.
Whatever.
Is.
Moving on.
So
Back to the book.
He's been
we
brainwashed.
get on the ship. We see Anira. I guess the first time like we see Anira with our eyes, and it's still
Mhm.
burning. And later on we'll find out why that is the case. But did anything like strike you when you saw Anira? Like to me, it didn't affect me. So
No.
Mm-mm.
sorry. I was just
It
like,
didn't
it's-
either
Yeah, it's
to me.
Anira.
I was like, it's an era. The place was destroyed. Still burning.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, and
There was one description though that hit me. Keep going though.
Okay.
I'm gonna find it.
He's
Yeah,
gonna find
no.
it, y'all.
just reading it, and yeah, kind of wanting to have that connection, like, oh, it's the homeland that they've been waiting for, longing
Right.
for their whole life, but they're on a way to a different homeland right
Right.
now. That's they haven't completely given up, but that makes me think about Nia and Redrick, but we'll get to that. And just like, yeah, they've moved on.
Right. I mean, it's brought up several times with the discussion of home, of
Mhm.
like, you know what, Monster in the Halls is our home, and the nail in the coffin is obviously Nia and Roderick, as you
Yeah.
pointed out. But yeah, it's just kind of, oh well, we're moving on. It's burning. Moment of silence. Okay, let's keep going
Mhm.
on with our lives.
Well, yeah, and that's a good point of like their home is just wherever they are, where God has put them for that
Mhm.
moment. Like they're all together. They're
Well,
able
and
to.
that's what they come to realize at the end. I think.
Yeah.
Like I think they're not quite there at the beginning,
No.
but it's their arc. The story
Mhm.
arc.
Yeah, and I don't even know if they're even there most of this book.
Right.
Not until the
I think-
very end.
I truly don't believe that they gave up Anira in their hearts, or at least maybe Nia did, but not the kids
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh no. No, because it was something that they still hadn't fully discovered yet. Nia
Yeah.
had walked that land. She had lived there for years of her life. She had had
So
a whole
these are
life
her.
there.
This is her home. Yeah.
Yeah, it was her home, and she was the queen. But the kids, they never really knew it, and so like Jenner talked about losing his father all over again.
Right.
It was something that he had never fully known, and so just as he's starting to get to know who his father was, when because that had been hidden from him his whole life, his home had been hidden from him his whole life, and now it's finally coming back, and then just being not shoved in the closet, but like, okay, we're past that. When he hasn't had time to discover, he hasn't had time to mourn, he hasn't had time to enjoy the past and accept it and then move on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's still having to struggle through that, and
Oh.
but he eventually.
Yeah,
We
there
also
you go.
found out the ages in this book. They specifically say the ages.
Oh, you did.
Oh, they do.
Kalmar was 11.
That's right.
Janna was 12. Because they said it, they're like, no way we'd let Kalmar, who's 11, join the
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
that guild
that's right.
was.
That's
And
right,
then
they're focusing
Janna
on
maybe,
ages.
but he's still 12. That's too young.
Yeah. And then Lily's 9.
Like, that's crazy. At 12
It is.
for all that to happen?
They kind of put that
Nah.
in my and I was like,
Nah.
It's a little bit
shy.
too young. Anyways, I can't find the exact quote, which is
Oh
kind of
my
hurting me.
God.
But stop
Because
expressing
you didn't
this way.
finish it. No, I'm kidding.
No, I know.
you read this part. You read this part.
It's such a vague quote, but it's a Janner, and I believe he was thinking. I don't think it was said out loud, but the winds had changed, and he could smell the isle, and he said that it didn't smell like the things were burning on the isle. It smelled like the isle itself was burning.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah.
That's
that
good.
was like
That's good.
That was such like a late entrance into that discussion.
No,
But-
that's okay. I like it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that as kind of we move on and we meet the Hollows folk and stuff. Okay, let's back up. So the Green Hollows, it's basically Scotland. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And like looking
Yeah,
at the new
that's how I
illustrations,
imagined
it's
it.
like okay, it's Scotland.
You're Scottish.
Yeah.
No,
I
that's literally like this. You're
And
Hollish?
he does all the voices.
Yeah,
and
in
like,
Scottish.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, which he does a pretty good job at.
He does.
Amazing.
I think it's still fun. I mean, I think that it's just basically Scotland, ripped off maybe a little bit,
Mhm.
but I still liked it and enjoyed it.
I think it's
how
how
relatable. It has to be something
hilarious
we understand.
how if people ever have an issue between them, their first thing is to go to, do you want to wrestle?
Yeah.
Or fight.
Yeah, no, all the wrestling games are a ton of fun,
Yeah.
and
I think it's hilarious
The
that
fact
they
how-
teach in school how to punch and
Yes.
kick.
Yes.
Like, what?
It's like pummelry training, like PT pummelry training.
yeah.
Not
Like,
physical
or
therapy.
get the boot.
Pummelry training.
get the boot. You're not bright. Oh yeah, get the boot.
Yeah.
That is
Do you
one
have
of
the
my
boot? Kick the
favorite
boot.
chapters.
No,
Favorite chapters.
That one's
yes,
so
that's
funny.
No, do you know the best part of that chapter is when
Lily
the
goes
guildmaster Croft and Croft, both
Quaff.
Quaff and Quaff.
Oh,
It's Poif.
Quaff?
Guildmaster and Guildmadam Poif.
I think that's right.
okay. I don't remember
I
that.
don't know.
In
I don't remember
in
how
the
they pronounce
audiobook, I'm pretty sure he said
Trust me,
Quaff.
I read the whole book.
Okay.
I know.
Okay.
They're only mentioned once, bro.
it. Bryson, my man.
But they look at Lily
Carry
and she's like, "I'm really good with dogs.
Oh,
like,
yes.
I used to have a little.
That's right.
I used to have a little dog once, and his name was Nugget, and then he grew.
He was
They
as
get
big
water
as a
from the
horse.
first well, and he grew to be a good horse.
They
Like,
told
I'm
me.
sorry to see that your adventures have affected your
Yeah.
head, Lily.
No,
yeah.
the guild madam said that that you had been through a lot, but I'm so sorry to see that it has messed with your head.
Yeah, and then they start explaining to her like she's a child and has no clue what
Can
it
you
is
understand me?
going- Yeah. No, that was funny. Them explaining. It's like, get the boot. You have the boot. Keep
Get
the
the-
boot.
Get the boot.
Like, that's so simple.
Get the boot. What are we supposed to do? Get the boot. I mean, it's in the name.
It's
Once you get
it's not
the
very
boot, you
bright.
keep the
Oh
boot.
yeah, get the boot.
Don't drop the boot. Keep the boot.
And after them not understanding what
And
it
if
is,
you
they
lose the
literally,
boot-
like dominate the game.
Yeah.
And then Kalmar's like, okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll get the
I'll
boot.
keep the boot. Okay, so my big question with this is, I was trying to like think about this, and I'm kind of back and forth on it. But it's like, I kind of see where the Hollows folk are coming from. Like the whole end of the book is portrayed as Nag the Nameless never conquered the Hollows in name, but his evil has infiltrated them in terms of their suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
Mhm.
the whole he is a Fang. Like I understand that, and I don't think in the beginning of the book we're supposed to feel they're being unjust because it's true. He's a Fang, and we want to go through due process.
I mean, if you were in their situation,
Right.
like you would probably
100%.
be like scared that it's
Yeah.
a Fang.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely be like Gregory Bunch, honestly, and be like, well, I wouldn't be Gregory Bunch.
I don't
I
know
would
if I'd
be,
be
I'd
that
be,
far, Taylor.
I'd be the Bunch dad. Like
that is.
that
Oh
is-
no, wait, no.
That's-
what's his
His
name?
dad was worse. He tried to
Finn-
hang
all-
them.
No.
Oliver Bunch.
No, Nibbick.
Nibbit.
Nibbick.
Yeah, he tried to
Nibbick.
hang them.
Yeah. And, okay, here's the deal. But so Kalmar did.
He was power hungry.
Yeah, he did kill animals and things like that.
Yes.
He did break Turley, and he deserves some sort of punishment. And so I think the book relies too much on our sympathy for Kalmar and like actually knowing him, and then accuses the Hollows folk of being too judgmental. But it's like he is a Fang, like, and I get and here's a minute. Okay, all I'm trying to say is, do you feel like there was any unfairness in the way the Hollows folk were portrayed? in terms of their suspicion towards the Wingfeathers and especially Kalmar? That's kind of my question. That's kind of what I've been wrestling with. I think mostly it is fair, but I just want to hear what you guys have to say about that.
Yeah.
I agree. I see where they're coming from. I can also see where that might be true of in our culture today. Like, we've been lied to, and we bought the lie without having realized it. Yeah. But yeah, and I do think it always has bugged me, especially this time, like reading it and not, like, even though Kalmar is the king, he still did do all those things.
Right.
And so I do think he probably still should be punished.
Yeah. Do you guys still think that that all the consequences of Kalmar making the choice he did, were they sufficiently dealt with in Monster in the Hollows? Like the repercussions that he would have faced? Like, do you think that I guess the pain that he would have felt, shame, the attitudes of other people towards him, do you feel like it was dealt with accurately? Does that make sense?
I don't like talking so negatively about the book because I love it.
Yeah,
and it is great. But
we love it. All we're trying,
yes.
Everything we're saying is in love. We're wrestling through. We're talking through this,
and
like,
it's criticism that is needed. And so going through it, yeah, I would say most of it is coming from Janner's point of view, and we never get to really see the inside of Kalmar's brain, like what's going on in there. I mean, all we know about what's going on in there is from what he tells Janner.
Right.
And so we never see like his day-to-day struggle. We never see like what he is battling every day, whether it's the main thing of forgetting who he is, whether it's that constant appetite, whether it's just the people that are constantly aggravating him. We never really see into his mind, which I kind of wish we would see more of.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a whole lot better. And I don't know. I kind of get mad at Lily a little bit in this one because, like, Janner.
Wow.
Janner has such a hard time, like, figuring out how to live in this environment and, like, what his job is as the throne warden and what his job is as just someone living in the Hollows, but also living with his brother, who's a Fang.
He's a Fang, yeah.
And Lily, I like her winsomeness. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right.
I love...
She's hard not to like.
The way she handles it. But I do feel like she gets the super easy part of the deal. Like, she doesn't have to wrestle with as much as the boys do. And that is because she's younger, because she's a girl, and, yeah, just...
And dogs.
Yeah.
And dogs, yes.
Dogs.
And she's
the
not
dogs.
a throne warden.
Dogs are the answer for Lily.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tanner and Isaiah, the two questions. Do you feel like the Hollows folk were portrayed unjustly at all, and do you think that Kalmar, the things he dealt with, was appropriate? So,
I don't think it was unjust as much. I mean, if you look at the whole circumstances of it, I do think they kind of went over the top at the end.
No, for sure. I'm not defending anything they did.
Yeah. But I definitely don't think it was over the top, at least with being scared and, like, not really knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Because he was a Fang. Although he was also Kalmar, he was also a Fang. He looked like a Fang.
Right.
Act like he was a Fang.
Looks like a Fang, talks like a Fang. Like,
for the most part, yeah.
So we must assume
he's a Fang.
He's a Fang.
Yeah.
Especially if
and they had valid reason because of the guy that was in the dungeon, the other Fang, showing that eventually they just get worse and worse.
Yeah. Actually, it's a she at the end. Remember?
Oh yeah, you're right.
'Cause it's kind of implied.
I forgot about that.
They get together at the end, right?
Yeah. I don't know,
We'll
man.
get there.
Whatever. But so yeah, I don't think it was really unjust. And then what was the second question again?
Just like Kalmar becoming a Fang and all the things that happened after that. Do you feel like they were accurately portrayed? Everything that he went through, would you have expected him to go through? Do you think the consequences of his actions were dealt with rightly by Peterson?
I mean, I don't know. I never really thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that's a good thing. I think he did a really well job.
Yeah.
Very good job with all the actions of the Hollows folk towards him, with the bunges and dog and the scaredness of the Hollows folk and everything. So I think that's good. I think you're right not to notice it because I think he did it very well. Tanner?
Yeah, and going back, I didn't notice it as much reading the book. It's only talking about it now that I'm like, oh yeah, it would have been nice to know what's going on in Calmar's brain.
Mhm.
But yeah. It
Well,
wasn't
and I'm mostly
super-
focusing on not like internal thoughts of his, but just like the way he's treated, the consequences he would have faced as a result. And you're right, like I think Peterson does a good job of. Calmar's pretty open with Janner, and that's good. You know,
Mhm.
kind of talking with his actions or talking about things he's feeling and
Yeah.
such like that. So,
Yeah.
Tanner,
I think he deals with it pretty well. Like, I think that, yes, in the end, the Hollows folk take it way to the extreme.
yeah,
But I think that as far as, like, I mean, I would have been terrified. Like, here this is a legitimate wolf walking next to me.
Yeah.
You know?
going to
And
school
I'm expected to,
and
be
fight with him.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
I'm expected to be okay with the fact that this dog is running with
Yeah.
a boot away from me, and I can't catch up to him because he's a dog.
Yeah,
You know, And
Dog
so
Wolf.
Dog boy.
Dog. Wolf.
I'm talking from a Hollows folk perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and Janner even says
I can't blame
himself-
them for any I can't
no,
say that
I
I'd
don't.
be
I'm not
any
going to defend
different.
all the things the Bunges do because it's unnecessary. It's a taunt. Like it's
Yeah, they're stupid.
it's obviously
No,
great.
I'm talking about like
They
all the
are,
other
no.
kids
Yeah,
that
this
like
the normal
see.
suspicion. The I don't know. It's kind of awkward, and I'm kind of scared. And
Mm-hmm.
Kind of scared. Like, no, there's the I saw these things like
These
early
things
in my
killed
life.
people I knew probably.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do think it was funny though whenever they first joined whenever the what is it?
Durgan Guild.
Yeah, when they were joining the Durgan Guild, and they were like questioning like why they can join it because they're too young, and then they were like,
yes.
How
"How many things have you fought?"
It's like,
He's like,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
11,
7.
12.
What is it? I think he said like 9 or something like that or so. And then Calmore's like 29. Just knows exactly
Yeah, yeah.
29.
Yeah, that was great. That was
Like
awesome.
what? And all the kids are like, what?
No,
I think
like
27.
on the line of like
Maybe not.
epic
29,
like
27,
epic lines and like, oh my gosh, like I didn't think of like how like epic they are compared to the other kids. The Reckoning of the Bunch.
Oh yeah,
I
Oh,
know
yeah.
that this was I remember vividly that
chapter.
this was still my favorite chapter.
we
and
talked about it in the previous episodes. I think.
Yes.
Bryson.
and
yeah, we did.
it's still my favorite. It's still my favorite chapter of this book. Like,
It comes pretty early on too. I forgot how early on it
I
came.
know.
Yeah.
and it's so good. I mean, that line of
Find
just
it. Read
like,
some things out of it. We'll get to it. Okay. While you do that, we're gonna
Yes.
talk about Rudrick, and then
Do
we'll come
so.
back to you. So, Isaiah. Okay. So we meet Rudrick, and sorry, do you have any other notes here, Bryson? On this?
Rudrick.
Well, I think
I
we'll.
was just looking for the page number on that.
Oh, okay. Rudrick. I was just doing muscles flexing on that. Rudrick's a beast.
Oh yeah.
And
he's
I love-
insane.
I love just on a world building perspective how we get to be introduced to him being the keeper and how the government works, and then the Great
Mhm.
Hall and the tree and just the simple world building of all the handprints on the
Mhm.
trees and how faded they are and things like that. It's just
Mhm.
I loved how Rudrick in the beginning when they first like found out that Calmar was a thing, he goes up onto the ship, uses his
Uh-huh.
hammer and smashes the
Yeah.
mast, the main mast, like one hit,
he's
and it
just such
destroys it. Like what?
he's such a dog. Like, man with one smack.
We need to do like a
knocks-
super cut of like just Tanner saying dog. We said like so many times.
Yes,
Dog.
Dog.
That's like his new
dog.
such a dog.
Anyway, yeah, he is a beast though.
Oh,
He
yeah.
is.
It's so hard for me not to harbor some resentment toward him though.
What?
Just because like I read the whole book knowing what happens now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like that
He acts like he should have acted, and like he's been taught to act, and how he
The book is pretty clear. It's not his fault.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
I
things.
agree.
So
I just I shouldn't get
and-
mad, but I kind of do.
his arc in Ward and the Wolf King fizzles out to he gets a good ending, I guess.
Rudrick?
Yeah, Rudrick.
Yeah, yeah. It just got complicated. I
Yeah,
mean,
it did.
What
I mean,
did
he
you
stabbed
expect?
Esmond.
Yeah.
What
So-
do you expect?
He proposed to Nia. They're gonna get married,
and then he
just
stabs her.
her
hu-
yeah, her husband.
Husband.
I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
they're
in his
still-
defense, though, he didn't know.
Right. No. And again,
He's
The
like,
book
gotta
is
get you out
totally
of the way
honest.
before I can marry her.
But like everyone's screaming, telling him to stop, and even Nia
he's
saying
got.
stop.
He's got. It's yeah.
I forgot how Nia couldn't recognize who he was. Like Nia had no idea what was going on. She
Rudrick, is
never
that
saw.
you?
No.
Esmond?
At the end, yeah, Esmond.
Mhm.
She had no idea who it
Oh,
was.
we
and then
She just heard
briefly get
Janner
Nia's
playing.
perspective.
Yeah, when we go to that one after the kid's already been kidnapped, and then you flash back to hers.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part.
That's
Yeah,
my
we'll
favorite.
get there. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I found it.
You found it?
Janner has just jumped on Grigory Bunch and like just let fly.
No, read the one part like when he decides, when he makes that mental
valid.
decision.
Oh, we're gonna have to read this entire excerpt though because
Go ahead.
it's so good.
Wait, do you need to correct Tanner again? Excerpt.
I'm going to begin.
I didn't even notice it either.
Good job, Cooper. Good
Okay.
job.
He says Janner knew what he had to do and he dreaded it. He wasn't impulsive like Kalmar. He had to get like Kalmar. He had to think things over. The problem was thinking was exactly the wrong thing to do in this case. If he thought too much, he'd never follow through. And then Grigory says, "Oi, good morning to the nursemaid, the dog boy, and the girl who can't walk." Lightning flashed and a chilly rain fell. Janner's heart shrank. He had hoped there would be at least a little time before he had to act, but Bunch was waiting. Janner looked around for help, but Guild Madam Groundwitch was nowhere to be seen. The parents driving carriages through the courtyard looked everywhere but at the Wingfeathers. "I'm talking to you, Fang," Grigory said.
They're Scottish, not Irish.
Yeah,
I'm
what is his
trying.
accent?
I'm trying.
It's
No,
good.
I'm
It's
glad
fine.
you're doing
No,
something.
it's good. It's
accent.
good. It's good. It's good.
Janner sighed and dropped his pack. The time had come. Before Gregory knew what hit him, Janner spun around, roared something unintelligible, and dove headfirst into the boy. It was like driving into a wall, but Janner heard the air wheeze from Grigory's lungs, and the two of them toppled over. Janner swung his fists wildly, grunting like an animal. He took several punches, which he hardly felt. Isaiah, stop. And threw several
Only
back.
Isaiah.
Okay. He prayed. Great quote. Not what I'm looking for. Not the energy we're feeling right now.
But I mean, he threw punches at the guy. It was
Okay,
needed from the beginning.
Here's the quote that I really wanted. It's, so he's just writhing in Kalmar's grip right now. And this is my favorite speech that he has. "Leave my brother alone," Janner shouted. "I don't want to fight you, but I will if I have to, Grigory Bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for the rest of you." Janner hurled his defiance at every guildling in the courtyard. He shook loose of Kalmar's grip and strode forward, beating his chest with a fist and shouting, "I am the throne warden of Anira, and Kalmar is my charge. Do you hear me? I've battled fangs and trolls. I've walked the stony mountains and sailed the dark sea. I've stood in Jurgen's shadow and looked the dragon in the eye." Lightning scraped the clouds as Janner stood in the rain and screamed. He flung a finger in Grigory's terrified face. "The Maker has brought us safely this far, Grigory Bunch, and I will fear no guildling of the Green Hollows. Even if you insult the High King or the Song Maiden, you will reckon with the Throne Warden. Do you understand?" Grigory glanced at the other children. Janner leapt forward and put his face in Grigory's. He knew that the boy could beat him into the mud if he had a chance to gather his wits. So Janner's only weapon was his madness. "Do you understand?" Janner said through clenched teeth. Finally, Grigory nodded and stammered, "Yes."
Yes, Throne Order Wingfeather.
"Yeah. Yes, Throne Warden Wingfeather," Janner growled. "Yes, Throne Warden Wingfeather."
We need
So
the
good.
audiobook by Tanner.
Oh my gosh.
I get chills every time.
It's so good.
every single time.
That
is
is
one
like-
of his best writing.
Some of his best writing. Like the lightning scrapes the clouds behind
it's good.
Janner. Like you can
It's
just
an image.
You
It's a
can
moment.
just see it like as he's screaming.
I will have
at-
no gilding of the Green Hollows.
Exactly.
screaming
my
at these
goodness.
children and just like, you guys.
I don't really care that a 12-year-old could never come up with that speech. It is so awesome. I'm gonna forgive him.
I know, right?
I mean, yeah.
I will never say anything that awesome, even when I'm like an English major or journalism major. In
Well,
like
he
my
has
30s.
the blood. He has the blood of the
You're right.
purest limericks
No, I
ahead
agree.
of him.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's genetic.
I mean, you're right. He studied Word all his life, so he's,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we can fast forward. We meet everybody. We meet Roderick. We do Turley. Artham flies away. Sad Artham. Wimpy Artham.
But he
Sad
went to go
face.
save Sarah.
He went to go
Tanner's
save Sarah.
favorite.
So that's good. Tanner's happy.
I appreciate that.
We meet Bonifer Squoon.
Ah, that guy.
Bonifer, the mastermind.
Okay,
Yeah.
the backstory behind Bonifer Squoon gets so good
It gets
here, and it gets so much it gets even better in the next.
This is one of the things where it's like it's clearly built all the way through. He knows who this
Absolutely.
guy is. Its
Mhm.
seeds are planted early on.
Absolutely.
Like, Bonifer Squoon has been in.
I remember.
He had to have been in Peterson's mind since beginning of book 2. Like he
Yeah.
had to have been.
I remember first time like listening to this, and I was so shocked that he would betray them. I'm like, no,
Now
that
it's so
nice
obvious.
old guy.
No, but like he's not a nice. That's the great thing about it. Like his
He's
character
slimy.
is so good that like it's like a slimy old guy, and like as you're listening to like going back and listening to it again, right? And like all of the times that I've reread it, like knowing that he's a bad guy, like you can just feel.
You can feel it.
You
Mhm.
can feel it emanating through his character. It's not like
Yep.
a light switch turned on and he's like, "Oh, I'm bad now."
Yeah, but
It's
you have
like
no idea the first time you
It's
read
like the first time you read it, you have zero
Especially when
idea.
we're like kids listening. We have no
Yeah.
idea how stories work.
Oh,
We're
that's
like,
what I
wait,
had
that
to find
guy's gonna
out.
betray. Did not see that coming.
He's like this old guy that's like exactly like Oscar, except like older. And like, how is he gonna betray them? Like,
it. No
That
way.
is awesome, though, hearing. That's the one part I did like about him is finishing Oscar's sentences. Like,
Uh-huh.
no one else in the world would
Yes.
ever have done that.
no, there's a line that Janner has towards the end of the book. He says, I really, he's like, so like they're in the dining room and Oscar had said something and Boniface Kuhn had popped his head out of the kitchen and finished the sentence, and he's like, and in Janner's mind, I believe he says something like, I have never does he ever want to see another pair of people that have read as many strange things as the two of them.
It's like,
Anyways.
that'd be a weird pair. Yeah.
I know. It's like, would you ever want? That's a good question. Would you ever want to read anything that those two had read? Like,
I don't know about anything, but
As far-
everything.
I don't know what
everything that
they've
they've
Not
read.
everything.
You definitely
Yeah.
like everything that they've read. Like some of the things
He's
that they
able to tell Tink that he has the wrong book on itching.
Through a
He's read
quote.
like 5 or 6. I read all of them. That's what he said. I've read all. This one's the best one. I'm telling you. Oh man.
And he probably used a quote to tell him. Well, did we ever get a reply about if he has a complex?
Oh, we didn't, did we? I don't
No.
think so.
Dang.
We'll keep you updated, guys.
Yeah.
See. Okay, we get to the Chimney Hill section, which is some of my favorite parts. Hear Poto's backstory, which is just glorious,
It was so funny.
and
great.
I didn't remember anything until, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Poto's-
telling the story
Poto's
of him.
backstory is just like, he's even like, he's just such a cool guy.
Yes.
I thought it was funny how he's telling the story about playing in the or competing in
Bannock
the
Durga?
yeah, in the whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And
Bannock Durga.
yeah, and like you were like, oh, did he win? Did he do good? And he's like, and then
I woke
the
up
la-
some
Yeah.
some
He's
fields
like,
with a
"And I had
bloody
the boot."
nose.
I was running for the field with the boot as fast as I can. That's the last thing I remember.
Lily's like, no.
That's not how the stories work.
Yeah.
But
I
then it's
woke
a
up
happy
to
ending.
her.
Yeah.
I woke up to her lips on my coat, and
Yeah.
like the quote is, "The boys both flinched, but
Or
Lily
groaned.
stared
Lily
up with her
sighed,
head.
yeah.
Lily
Yeah.
sighed with glee."
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, we go to meet Olympia Ground Witch, the Whiskers. Oh man,
The 7 whiskers of Olympia Ground Witch.
what a great chapter title.
Fire.
I like Olympia. Go Master Clout and her are pretty funny now and in
They're,
the future. Yeah.
Like their relationship
Yeah,
is
it's so awesome.
hilarious.
And we meet the guilds. The
Yes.
guilds.
Mm,
And
yes.
we get to see the awesome guild.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness.
The Durgan Guild.
Oh, yeah.
boy.
Where are guilds in school? Let's be honest.
We're
Yeah.
homeschooled.
It's true.
Like what?
Speech and debate is our guild.
Yeah.
Oh no,
My guild
mine?
is music and Legos.
mine's video games.
Yeah, let's be real. Let's be real. Cybersecurity.
We need guilds like they had guilds.
Yeah,
I'm just
we
like the
do.
guilds. Like it's
Guilds
a
that
great
actually
system, you know?
did something
Yeah.
that actually
go to
was
wrestling
super
or-
useful.
Yeah.
Go to
Not saying
boxing.
Like it's not
Debate
like
is useful.
I mean, it's not like school where like you had to like. I mean, yes, they had
The
history
boring
and they
history
had math,
lecture.
but like it's not like all they did.
Right.
Yeah.
They did.
No.
They did things. They
Yes.
went and did.
Did
things.
Like
Once-
the wood rider, he built the carriages.
The
for
carriages.
The Houndrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They,
built the
they,
Houndrix.
they built the ships and
Yeah.
things.
One thing I thought.
And like the Durgan Guild, like
Bro,
they
Isaiah
actually
is
became-
trying to say
yeah,
something cool.
shut up. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
One thing I really liked from it was that one scene whenever the snow falls,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they go
They
into
did,
the
yeah.
new place for sneakery or whatever it is.
Yes.
Oh,
And the guy just tells him, he's like, "You two, run through the maze as fast as you can. The last, or whoever gets out first has half as many laps as the second one. You three, ambush the guy that comes out first and try and tie him up. Janner, take a slingshot and go up here. Everyone else try and sneak up around them and not get hit by Janner." And it's like, but like the funny thing is, he told the three to ambush the first guy out in front of the first guy.
No. He ran off.
Oh, he
And it
already
was
ran
like,
off?
Okay, so like go.
No, you
yeah,
three
yeah,
go
yeah,
ambush
yeah,
him and
yeah.
try and tie him up as fast as you can. It's like, what?
And that in
What
that
is this?
chapter, Janitor says, and he was so scared and so confused, and he had never had more fun in
In
his
his life. Yeah, because then they turn off the lights and
Yes, I do it.
Huh?
And then he's like, man,
And a
I can't
window
believe I
lizard.
ever wanted to be in the book bunch.
Yeah.
It's
That was so good. But like, imagine being in the thing. You'd have to be prepared for literally anything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Secret Service.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
No, but I get what Tanner's saying. Like, were you about to say the Durgan Guild prepares you for something?
Oh yeah,
Like, it
they
literally sends
actually
you straight
become
into a
like
career.
it sends you like directly into being a Durgan.
Yeah.
I
And,
mean,
like
didn't we used to have like a while ago, like a long time ago, they used to have it like that. Like you'd go to school for whatever craft you're in, and
Yeah.
that's just
Right.
what you stick in. Like you'd be an apprentice and you stick with that.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
schools
That's
used to
basically
be
what it was.
used to
Johnny
assume.
Tremaine.
Schools
That's
used
actually
to
what I was
assume.
thinking of.
I knew it.
That's more like apprenticeship. It's
Yeah.
different. But
Yeah, true.
the schools used to assume when you leave, we're gonna make you be a productive member of society. And now it's like you go to college, you do school, you do whatever. I don't know. But
Tanner's
now,
dying over there.
It's serve yourself instead of serve the community, and
yeah, and the schools just don't do a good job of preparing you for like doing things in
Mhm.
real life.
like they don't teach you how to do taxes, guys.
That's right.
They
I
like
need-
they literally don't.
who
though.
needs home ec when you need tax class? You know.
No, like
Fair.
what's
I mean, they
what
expect
is
you
the
to pay like millions of them throughout your life.
Right.
So.
The teachers are like, listen, you guys are going to be paying my salary eventually. I want you
Yeah.
to learn how to do that.
Properly.
it's like no, I
But do
think
you
it
want them
was,
to actually teach you? Because they probably teach you wrong where you pay more.
I think
than
it was
you're
Matthew.
Right.
I think it was Matthew said he was in one of his college classes one day, and his math teacher took an entire day, and she said, "You know what, guys? I'm not having you like. We are going to make sure most of his class was still in his and with their parents, right?" And
Smaller
she
college,
said, "Yeah, smaller college, community college." And she looks at them and she says, "Today, I'm teaching you how to do your taxes."
Yeah.
Everybody just cheers.
Something very applicable that I know a lot of people probably fear.
All right,
Dread
I
having
fear.
to do that.
Okay, two things. Let's talk about the Cloven, and then we talk about Dugtown. So the Cloven, we beat the Cloven, and we're kind of just scared of them. We don't know what they are. We hear the backstory. What was like your first thought of like the Cloven when you first read the books? Like, who did you think they are? Were you scared? Like, did you kind of pick up on the idea of not nameless melding these creatures? Like, did you kind of
I
assume?
kind of figured that the Cloven were basically just failed experiments
Yeah.
of that. Because I'm like, there's no way that Nag the Nameless used the stones, had the song, and got it right the first time.
Yeah.
Me just with my mind and how
Right.
that worked. I was like, there's got to be all the mess ups. Where are they?
Yeah.
And then this talked about Cloven. I'm like, that's it.
So his mind was like actually logical and figured things out.
I know.
I-
what the heck?
I've thought much the same way the first time, and now listening to it, like I can't help but feel like the undertones of like the Word and the Wolf King, like
Yeah.
their kind of
It's
society.
coming there. Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I can feel it, like some of the things that the band, like that the Durgans were saying, like it definitely made them feel like the Clovens that were coming in were like rejects
Right.
of a society.
Well, and
Yeah.
even what Arthur said about getting lost.
Oh right, and all the
In
weird
Blackwood.
things and
In the
yeah.
Blackwood.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, was he like crazy
Yeah,
or
was he
high
imagining
or, like,
things
what?
or hallucinating?
Yeah, exactly.
No idea.
I mentioned that the last episode on North of Beaton as well. He does another broad, weird statement thing that just Janner keeps thinking about, and it's obviously just going to be some big reveal we had no idea was coming at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Where
yeah.
it's just like this broad, can it be interpreted good or bad? Like, who is it about? Like,
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Another one of these. But it's just it's a handy plot trick, and it works for him, and so it's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
there it is. Okay, so let's talk about Scree. So during this, we have interludes with Sarah. At the very end of the battle, it's just like intercut chapter with Scree and stuff. How did you guys feel like that worked out? Like, I forgot that we kind of had them sprinkled through.
Yeah.
And I guess listening to it all in one time kind of maybe
Mm-hmm.
mess up. But are you going to say something else,
I definitely think it helped keep you engaged in it.
Yeah.
Because it'd be like there's about to be a big thing that happens in like the Green Hollows, and it's all of a sudden like Sarah. It's like, oh, forgot about her. And then there's a big thing that's going to happen with Sarah. It's like, oh, we forgot about the Green Hollows. And it goes back and forth.
Yeah, it keeps you interested.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
good. It's good cutting.
Yeah.
I think the pacing works fine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it works fine with the story, too, because
Yep.
they're going to, I forgot his name, Artham's going to go
Right.
rescue them.
And so you have the
all
tension
that.
there and
Yeah.
things. Yeah. I think that it's always tough to have two climaxes.
Mhm.
You know, which is why Lord of the Rings pushed Shelob and the movies to the next book or next movie, because it would be tough to have two super emotional climaxes in Helm's Deep and Sam
Mhm.
versus Shelob, and it just wouldn't work probably.
Mm.
Same thing here. You have Artham, and the best part was Artham's telling Esmond to sing the stones, and that was all. That all worked fine.
Yeah.
But just like
Mhm.
we had a chapter in Scree, chapter there, like
Mm-hmm.
it got kind of all over the place and things.
I think it worked though.
Yeah, I think it worked fine. I think that it's like I said, it's just tough to do two climaxes in different places of the world
Mm-hmm.
and doing it well. But I think it worked fine for
Yeah.
sure. Tanner,
Yes.
He wasn't paying attention.
he wasn't paying attention.
This is the part of the book he hasn't read yet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I mean, they're not lying.
Yeah. So I forgot how quick we spend a whole lot of time with the beginning of the book and setting everything up, and then the tension at school. Then we have the reckoning of the bunch, and we have this like brief section where everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And it's love the section.
It's great.
A lot
It's
of
like
Chimney
2
Hill.
months of their
2
time.
months. It's winter. Snow is falling. Nia and Roderick are getting together and courting and things, and
Doing things.
the library and all the stuff. And then like the ending happens, and it's like we don't spend a lot of time where everything's perfect,
Mhm.
and then the ending happens where Kalmar tells Janner about the cave and
That he took all the animals.
took all the animals.
I
and-
remember the first time reading it or hearing it, listening to it, whatever. I was like, no way it's Kalmar. It's just to trick you. Like, it has to be a thing that's like, it makes you think it's Kalmar. Like, you're like, oh no, he's going to be in prison. It's
Right.
not him, though. Well, it was him. I was so sad.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
when
well,
you learned that it was like
him.
actually like
Him.
Well, okay, well,
just-
you're just kind of like, oh, it's Kalmar. But then something big happened, and then he's like, oh wait, the kid, Bonnie. Oh crap, the kid. There's a kid. Did Kalmar do that?
the kid.
The kid.
Save
Yeah.
the kid. Save the kid.
No, well, I remember when I first read it, I was like, "There's no way. There's no way. There has to be some other way. There has to be some other explanation." I didn't read into it thinking that it was Kalmar the
Yeah.
first time at least.
Wow.
I mean, towards the end, as soon as, especially when like Poto started saying, "Oh, it's a snake buzzer," and you're like,
Yeah.
"No, it's not."
It's a
snake buzzer.
By the way, I kept every time somebody said the monster from the hollows, I think it said like twice, like
Mhm.
Yes,
Kalmar's the
it's
monster
one,
from the hollows, and
and
then
it's-
Bonifer
yeah.
at the very end. Bonifer
Yeah.
dies, or supposedly. And I keep thinking of Pitch Beating.
Bonifer
That's the
can't die.
name of the movie, like that. That's the name of the book. Every time I'd read that, and then okay, so we had
Like
we're at the climax.
Wakanda Forever. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like they're Wakanda Forever. That's a
Okay,
different story.
So we're at the very end. Roderick comes back. The battle happens. Bonifer is
He's
like,
all in the
"Hi, it was
tree.
me,
How
laughing,
does
laughing."
no one realize, like, that, they're trying to hang them from the tree, and no one realizes that there's a bunch of dudes in the trees.
No,
Because that's where they were.
No.
They're the
They were
Durgan Guild.
outside.
No, weren't they in the trees?
No, that's the Bat Fang's next book.
No.
No,
They were in the trees.
They were in
'cause
the
that's-
tree?
Yeah, because remember, Lily's
Roderick
dog comes
loosens
running back
his-
in, and then
And
she's
she's
like,
Oh,
"Did you find them, boy? Did you find them?"
The Durgans
And Roderick
come from the
Yes,
tree.
says,
I
and then
understand.
Roderick's like,
found me.
I lost. You found me, and then shoots an arrow at the leader.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so the My Love Has Gone Across the Sea happens. We find out Esmond is alive.
Yeah, I
know.
want
Beautiful stuff.
He gets stabbed.
The show ruined. My Love Has Gone Across the Sea in the
Oh,
show. So sad face.
My favorite in probably the whole series. Okay. What is it? What are you trying to say? Jenner pleaded. So this is when they're on
Yeah.
the floor.
To the bear.
The monster's eyes locked onto Jenner's. They shone in the shadowy depths and its brow, like a circle of sky at the end of a tunnel. They were blue, flecked with gold, and deep as the sea. The cloven drew another shuddering breath. It spoke again in a wrecked voice. A word heaved out rather than breathed. Jenner, it said. And then he knew. He knew by the voice he had heard, by the glimmer in the cloven's eyes, and by the words it had spoken. I'll find you, and when I do, I'll hold you fast forever.
Yeah.
In the clamor, the fang dragged Jenner away from the cloven, and a single word tore from Jenner's throat. Papa. His voice was lost in the pandemonium, but there was one, at least, who heard.
It's good stuff.
Oh my goodness.
It's good stuff.
It's made me cry every time I read it.
By the way, Mr. Return, Esmond sings a song after that,
Yes.
and Artham tells him to.
Yeah, something that you said you struggled with.
Yeah, like it, and it seems because I was listening very intently to that part because Artham like sing the song for them, not for you, you know,
Mhm.
and I get that, but
So why couldn't he do that in the
exactly, like I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe we'll return to this when we have time in Warden and talk about it. So,
yeah.
anything else anybody wants to say? Great climax. The last moments are awesome in the boat, and oh man, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love this book. You should read it.
Beautiful.
It's better than North of Eden.
Yes,
For sure. So-
progressive. It's all progressively better.
Yep. right, Tanner, hit him with the promo, and then we'll do some donor shout-outs real fast.
Okay, first, if you want to be able to support us, go ahead and give us a 5-star rating or review. If
You
want
got
to
some
be
new
able,
ones. It's beautiful.
We
Love
very
you.
much
Yes,
appreciate that.
Very appreciate that. A great way to be able to share with your friends. Word of mouth is the best way that we spread, so please share with your friends. Next, be sure, if you want to be able to get a shout out on the show, which we are going to be doing in just a moment, make sure to support us with a $5 or up donation on patreon.com/bookinit. You can also follow us on Instagram at bookinitpod. And finally, we have a newsletter, and this will
On
be
our
coming
website.
out. Yes, this will have just come out. And if you want to be able to do that, go to our website at 412podcasting.com/newsletter.
All right, donor shout-outs. We got Nana, Babe Happy and
Nana.
Wayla.
Vampire
Yeah.
Willa.
Isaiah's grandparents,
My
Mike and
grandparents.
Sylvia, Moses and
Mike and
Sarah,
Sylvia, more than
and Jenny,
Sarah.
Uncle Sam, Mike and Laura, Anna, Emily, Keenan, Howdy, Jenny, Mrs. Hall.
Okay.
Love you
I
guys.
didn't have time to shout them out,
Yes.
but yeah.
we
Thank y'all.
love you guys. We do it better normally. Late night. We'll see you next time. Until then.
Keep on booking it.